We are now in activity 3.13. This is Word Chapter 3, Project 3B. And what we're going to do here is we're going to apply small caps font effect. We're going to make our titles look a little bit nicer. So select the first title here, and we're going to do a couple of things here. We're going to change the color, and he says to do this from the shortcut menu. We're just going to do it from up here. And the color we want is blue accent 1, darker 50%. It's this one right here. And under font style, we want bold. And under size, we want 18. And now effects is up here, but the effect that we want is not listed. So we're going to have to go here. And here we've got some other effects that we can add, and this is where the small caps one is located. Click on small caps, and it makes all the letters capital letters. And now it looks like that. And we want to center the text. We can either click on this or type Control E, and that's the way we want our titles to look. So if you got something that looks the way you want something else to look, you can use your format painter. This is my paint. Here's my format painter. I'm dipping the brush in the paint, and now I am painting the other text that I want to have look the same as the original text over here on the left. And he also has us change the line breaks here. You can put a line break in, which simply means end the line but don't end the paragraph, by doing Shift Enter. So if I do Shift Enter, it ends the line, and this is the way you know a line break is in there. We've got a little arrow there with a little square shape to it. And that ends the line, but it does not end the paragraph. And that takes us to the end of 3.13. Now we're going to do 3.14. And we want to go to the end of this "We strive to grow" paragraph and hit the Enter key once. So we've got a blank line in there. And then we want to select the 9 lines of company information, these 9 lines right here. And we want to make them bold, Control B. And we want to make them centered, Control E. And then we're going to change the borders. Click on our border button here and go to Borders and Shading, and we want to make sure we have the Borders tab selected, and we want a shadow style border around the outside, and it gives us a little preview over here on the right. Whatever you see on the right is what your document's going to look like when you finally click on OK. And the style is a single line, and the color is blue, which I've already selected, and the width is 3 point, which I've also already selected. And when the preview here looks the way you want it to look in your document, you can click on OK. And whoops, we missed one step here. We didn't do the shading. Let's go back here and go to Borders and Shading and click on the Shading tab at the top. And the color we want here for shading is the 5th column. The second color should be called Blue Accent 1, lighter 80%. That's this color right here. Click on OK. And now if we click off of that, we see we've got a little colored background for that. In the remaining part of 3.14, he just puts in some keywords, and we'll skip that part. And that's the end of 3.14. We're going to close this document. Control W is the keyboard shortcut for closing a document. And then we're going to create a new document. I'm going to do a keyboard shortcut for that. Control N gives me a new document. And I'm going to save this. File, Save As. And I'm going to call this last name, first name, mailing labels. I've already got something out here because I've played with this a little bit before. We're going to save that and replace it. Yours should be brand new. And with our document open, click Open, and we're going to get the addresses file out there. So go to our File menu and choose Open. And in our Word Chapter 3 folder, we should have something called W03B addresses. And let's open that up. And that gives us a table with addresses, names and addresses in it. And we're going to add one more address to this. So we need to go down the last row of the table, click in the last box, hit Tab. Remember that automatically gives you a new row in your table. And then we're going to type in a new name and address for John Wisniewski under item number 3. We'll pause and do that. Okay, I've added the new name, and what we're going to do is we're going to save this. So I'll just do a save. You can also do Control S. And then we're going to close the document, which is just Control W. And now we should be back in our mailing labels document, which we are. And we're going to go to the mailings tab, and we're going to go to the Start Mail Merge group, and we're going to go to the step-by-step mail merge wizard. That brings up this little window over here on the right, and a wizard in Microsoft Office is a program that asks you questions about what you want to do. You answer the questions and it does the work for you. So if you know what you want to do, all you have to do here is answer the questions correctly and you'll be in good shape. So step number 1, we're supposed to tell it what kind of a document we're going to create here. And we're not doing letters, we're going to do a page or pages of mailing labels. So click on Labels, and once you've selected that, the way you get to the next step is by going down here to the bottom, clicking on Next. And it takes us to step number 2. And for under Select Starting Document, we're going to have Change Document Layout. And down here, we've got Label Options. Click on Label Options. And it'll bring up this dialog box. And under vendors here we want Avery US letter. And under the product number we want to scroll down till we get to 5160. So let's scroll down here. And these are sorted. So okay, we're in the 5s here. 5160 Easy Peel Address Labels. And that's for an 8.5 by 11 page, and looks like we'll get 3 across, and looks like about 10 going down the side. And now we click on OK, and then we go over here in our wizard, and we see the empty mailing labels right here, and we click on Next to select our recipients. And we want to use an existing list. That's that Word document we had up here a little bit ago. You can use a Word table for something like this. You can use a spreadsheet in Excel. You can use an Access database. Just about anything that's in the form of a table you can probably use here to create your mailing labels. And now what we want to do is we want to browse and we want to find that file. And I've got to go back here to my Word Chapter 3, and it was Addresses, and click on Open. And when we open it, we get this list of all of the data that's in our table. And if you want to, we've got field names here at the top. We got a last name, first name, address, and so on. This is the file that it's coming from. And check marks indicate whether we'll include them in the mail merge or not. And we've also got a down arrow here that lets us do some things, some sorting and filtering a little bit, but we're not going to worry about that. And we can also edit our data source. If I click on the data source down here and click on Edit, it will let me enter another data record. And what I want to do is, I don't want to change any of the existing records. What I want to do is I want to add a new record. So let's click on Add New up here. And we're going to add in some information for Susan Ballard. Okay, we've got Susan Ballard entered, and so that's the only one we're going to enter. So there's 2 ways to do it. We entered one by just opening up Word. We can also do it here in the middle of our mail merge. Close that, and we're back in the Mail Merge Recipients dialog box, and click on OK. And that is step 3. Now we're going to go on to step number 4, which is arranging our labels. And we want to click on address block here. And we want to click on match fields here. And what Word is trying to do is it's trying to take what it knows are the fields that go in an address block, and it's trying to find something in our list that sounds the same. So it's matching up our first name field, our last name field. We don't have a suffix or a company. We don't have an address to, but we do have a field called unit. And so we want that to go where address to would go in our mailing label. And now we can click on OK. And click on OK again. Now we want to go to where it says replicate labels, and we want to tell it to update all of the labels. So click on update all labels here, and now it has put an address block in every one of these. And now we're going to go down to the bottom, and it says preview your labels. And now it shows us what our labels are going to look like. So we can examine our labels, and this stuff looks okay up here, but once I get down to row 2 here, I see that adding that extra line with the unit number in there pushes the city and state and zip code off of the label. So we're going to have to change the spacing here. We've got them spaced a little bit too far apart. So select the entire table. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to our Home tab here. I'm sorry, our Page Layout tab. And for the spacing before everything, we want 3 points. Okay? Now that did not work for me. So what I had to do here was I actually had to go up here, change this to 3, but it doesn't seem to stick, and change this to 0. And when I did that, then now everything fits. Okay, now it's showing up here. And now if you look at the ones that have 4 lines, everything is showing up fine. Okay, the last step is to complete the merge. And we have the option here of printing, or if we choose to edit the individual labels, we can go in here and we can actually edit, go in and edit the text. But we're going to leave it the way it is. And if we do a print over here, it'll give us a print preview, and we want all. Click on OK. And it'll give us print dialog box here. And I don't want to print, so I'm just going to cancel that. And that takes us to the end of 3.17, and that's the end of project 3B. We're not going to do the backstage view in the document panel. We'll just skip that part.